Hey, Adam.
Welcome,
you got on.
Welcome, everybody, to our call. Thank you so much for joining. Tonight, we do have a very special guest, and I'm going to go ahead and introduce her right away so that we can really get into the goodies. And then after she's finished, we're going to talk just a little bit about Zoom calls. A few of us just attended the Start Zoom call. So we can kind of compare that and kind of talk about a few different things to continue perfect our Zoom calls. And then, of course, if there's any other questions about celebration. So before we start, I want to thank you all so much for being on the call tonight. Tonight is our regular team call. We do it every Tuesday night. In between, during the week, we will also do Zoom calls. They're opportunity meetings. So anytime you have different people you want to invite, we either do them based on your team and who you have to invite, or we do it together as a collective tribe. So we could do it really any way you guys want. And then if there's something special that we want to talk about or go over, we just set up a Zoom call. I do this a lot of times, and all the other leaders do as well. Anytime you have someone or a couple people that you want to introduce this to and you want to have a very special, private, small call, we do a Zoom call, and we just gather 2, 3, 4 people. So anytime that happens, know that that's available. We love to do these at any time. But again, welcome everybody. I want to welcome you to our call tonight. I know time is precious. I want to thank you guys for being here. Tonight, we're going to be bringing on one of our fabulous leaders, Journey Reeves. Journey has been going different directions outside of social media to build her business, and as she calls it, the real world. And it's been absolutely incredible for her. We all do quite a bit of our business on social media, and I highly recommend that. But you also have to be in the real world at the same time. You can't just be behind your computer screen. You must be in front of people and talk to them and get to know their wants and needs by seeing them in person. And Journey has been really establishing herself and her business by doing this. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Journey so she can share what she's been doing and how it's been going. And thank you so much, Journey, for sharing this with us. And it was very last minute.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me, Stephanie. I appreciate it. It was a fun text to get this afternoon because I'm actually in the process of being out in the real world, talking to one of my brand new enrollees, and I met her to do measurements for her first month. And we did her measurements, and she lost. She's killing it. She's doing great. I wish she was on the call right now because we just left with these big hugs, and this is a girl that I reconnected with probably about 2.5 months ago, and she connected with me on something completely different. And we met and we sat down, and she was using a competitor's products and was fine with that, didn't understand the difference between them, and I didn't even mention anything about it, but she had said, I'm doing this thing, I'd be interested if you would be interested. So we just reconnected on something else. I've known her for about 9 years. So at University in Action in Chicago, Tracy O'Malley said something that I think really resonated with the family, or with the whole group. And it was that if you are spending most of your social media time talking to people who are already Isagenix users, that is not an effective use of your time. If you are spending a lot of time putting together like really great inspirational posts and talking to people who already use Isagenix, that's great, but that's not a revenue producing activity. And she said, I don't talk to anybody on social media that uses Isagenix because they don't need me. That's not what I'm here for. So I really took that home, and I thought, okay, I need to take a look at where I'm spending my time and how I'm spending my time. And one of the things that really, when I took a look at it, I realized I was spending too much time preaching to the choir. So what I was doing is I was talking to people who are already using Isagenix, and I was talking to my team about products, and I was talking to my team about business, which is great, but I was spending the majority of my time. Now, let me back up. I started in July of 2013, and I started using the products. And then in February of 2014 is when I started doing the business side of Isagenix. 90% of my business that first year was social media based. So I'm not slamming social media. I'm not saying social media is bad. I'm just saying my biggest thing that I learned was the social media that I was using wasn't connecting with people I didn't know on social media. It was people I knew already had a relationship with. Okay, so it wasn't that social media wasn't driving my business. It was just a great medium for me to be able to communicate. It's a communication platform. It wasn't a prospecting tool at all. But what happened after that first year is everybody already knew I was using Isagenix. Everybody already knew I was distributing Isagenix. And all of a sudden, all of the interest took a nosedive. Okay, so after that first year, social media was no longer driving my business anymore because everybody who was going to be interested in it already was. I already enrolled them. I'd already gotten them started. They were already connected to the groups. And that was pretty much it. You don't really meet a whole lot of new people on social media unless you're sitting behind a computer all day. And so what I was noticing was that there was a lot of people on my team who were spending a significant amount of time on the pages of, you know, they were in the Game Changers pages, the Extremely Happy People pages, all the different pages, and they were posting. And what I was noticing was there weren't any results coming from that. And I wasn't getting results coming from that. So I backed off this last 6 months. I've really backed off of Facebook, except to check my notifications. I always check my notifications and totally check, if I have someone I see out in the real world, I'll go check their page and I'll see what they're doing and I'll see what they're up to. So I will go stalk their page, you know what I mean? And go like there was a girl today, and I'm gonna get to the nuts and bolts of it in a second. So social media has its place, but I think we get lazy with it and we tend to rely on it a little too much. So social media is fabulous. But what I did is I stepped away from it, and I only spend about an hour a day on Facebook now. That's it. I will not do more than an hour a day. So I will check my notifications. So if you guys need me on something, just tag me because I may not see it otherwise. I'm not perusing the pages all day long. And that includes team pages, that includes Extremely Happy People pages, that includes Game Changers. My own personal pages I make sure are fresh and updated, and I have people helping me with that, which is amazing. Thank you, Stephanie, for doing that. But I'm not spending a big chunk of my time there anymore because that wasn't revenue producing activity for me. Does that make sense, you guys? So what have I been doing? All right, one of the first things I did was I joined a gym that I used to work at a long time ago, and I just moved and I rejoined this gym. And I am running into people I used to know all the time. So go visit your old haunts. Doesn't have to be a gym, but it could be, the grocery store you used to go to, or the restaurant you used to work at or hang out at, or the school you used to go to, or there's places where people we knew, you knew a lot of people, and you kind of need to revisit those places. So if you haven't been to some of your old favorite places in a while, I would definitely recommend doing that. For me, it's the gym. Some people go to a bar, I go to a gym. It's just who I am. So I actually joined a different gym. And so now I'm running into people right, left, and sideways who are like, oh my God, hi, how you doing? I haven't seen you, blah, blah, blah. What are you up to? That's the question, right? Well, there's my entrance right there. If they're in a different state, obviously that's where social media is going to be easier to connect. But we've all been traveling this summer, and we're going back to old places that we grew up in or used to live at, and that's a great opportunity right there. The other thing that I did, and this was a huge investment for me, but it has already paid for itself, was I joined Business Networking International Group. And if you guys have not looked at that, it's bniaz.com. And if you're in another state, it would just BNI and then whatever your state 2 letters are, .com. And that's going to connect you with a group. And there will be categories open in different groups, and you can search that. And so this girl, Kimberly, who used to be my client at Lifetime, called me to ask me if I was interested in being in a BNI group. I'd never heard of BNI. I'd never heard of it. We have 25 people that opened this brand new chapter. I have 25 more people helping me build my business than I did 3 weeks ago. It's huge because the whole goal of it is, it's called Giver's Gain. You are helping them build their business and they're helping you build theirs. And this is the largest networking company in the world. You don't have to do BNI. You could do any of them. The amount of money it cost me to join for the year has already been recouped in the first 3 enrollments I got in the first 2 weeks of being in Business Networking International. 2 weeks. And I've had one-on-ones and consultations and talks, and they just encourage you to get in front of people, and it hones your skills. You have to bring your A game to this. This isn't something you show up in workout clothes in. At 8 o'clock in the morning on Thursdays, I'm in business attire sitting with 30 other professionals. And it has created a whirlwind and a firestorm for my business just in the last, we launched the kickoff a month ago, and within this past month, it has been, we just hit our third, so 3 weeks. In 3 weeks, I've enrolled 3 people. That's not bad, you know? And like one of them was like a presents pack, you know? So it was just, it's interesting when you get the floor and you get a chance to talk about what you do. And I just say, my name is Trudy Reeves. I'm a health coach. I don't mention Isagenix. That's not what I mention. I'm a health coach. I help people get healthy. I'm very passionate about what I do, and my tagline is solutions to transform lives. And I have people come up to me every meeting and say, hey, could we sit down for a one-on-one? I'd like to learn more about what you do. And that's your chance to use your skills. We have all those skills, but we're not using them because we're not getting in front of people. So, you know, it was just, I've been a little silent on social media because I've just kind of been out doing a lot more face-to-face, belly-to-belly stuff, and it reignited my passion. It really made me fall in love with this again. I was really starting to get a little tired, not bad, not negative, but I was just getting tired, and I was just kind of like, you know, it was like the same old thing, get on Facebook in the morning, do your post, check back, you know, reach out to people, do your 10 people a day, and it really wasn't getting anywhere. I wasn't, my numbers are not impressive, and it was really starting to bother me a little bit. So I decided that I was just going to stop that. So those are the 2 things I did, you guys. I just joined a new gym. That was it. And I'm already running into people left, right, and sideways that I haven't seen in a long time. I'm so excited. And then I joined a business networking group, and I have already made my money back just in what we call closed business. So that's it, Stephanie. That's what I've been up to. And, you know, besides for that, I'm really excited to get belly to belly with people, and then, you know, just have a blast with celebration and just be able to take all that stuff and that energy and carry it back to everyone else. I also did reconnect with one of my best friends who's been enrolled for a long time. I grew up with her. And when I was back in Chicago, she just had her partner open up a brand new gym, and they're trying to franchise this gym. And so I sat down with them and they said, what do we got to do? And I enrolled them, and I taught them how to have people order retail, and they're off and running with the performance line. And it really wasn't anything other than I had already established the relationship. And when I got a chance to meet with them face to face, I showed them the PowerPoint that I had put together of all the different things that they could offer their group, and they're off and running, and they're really excited. I wish they were on this call because I'm actually going to see them in Vegas on Saturday night. and they're going to be there for something unrelated, and we'll get a chance to see how that performance line is working for them so far. So pretty excited about that. It's been really, really a good couple weeks.
Excellent. I loved so many things about what you said, Journey, and I did take note and wrote them down so that we could send that out to different people. I liked what you said. It brought you back into the professional world, but also is giving you the practice. And you have to be on your A game. So it's scary for some people, but also at the same time, it's needed. And the more we build and the more we grow, we have to be able to tell our story at any second. We have to be able to have a professional conversation with someone on just a drop of a dime. And so this is certainly giving you that practice and that output to be able to do that. And you're seeing the same people over and over again, so they're really learning you. The other thing I loved about your group is you're meeting with professionals. And so you're meeting with people, for one, who have the income to buy a pack. So you don't have to talk about the cost as much, I'm sure. You have to show the value.
Exactly.
It's not about the budget, it's the value. So it's giving you that experience and that practice, but you're also teaching them how to overcome that right away as well. And you're meeting with professionals who know other professionals. Everyone involved with your group is some sort of entrepreneur, is that correct?
Most of them are entrepreneurs. Some of them are employees, but they're in a sales position where they are commission based.
So they're entrepreneurs because
they're hustling. They're out there and they understand. What's nice is, and this is specific to BNI, is that you have to take an oath of authenticity and credibility. I mean, it's not, you have to be very serious about it. You have to show up on time. You have to be dressed for success. You cannot leave early. You cannot miss these meetings. I mean, it really, and then you stand up and talk every single time you're there. So it's fun. It's turning into a family. I'm really excited about my group because it's just really super cool people. And it's a family. There's a lot of really quirky personalities, and it's just been a lot of fun. And it's kept my calendar much more full than it was before. Eric Worre once said, if you have an empty calendar, you should be scared. And my calendar is no longer empty. In fact, I'm trying to figure out how to squish everybody in. So really, it's paid huge dividends for the yearly annual fee that I paid.
Right. Well, and you, I've seen a huge difference with you. You have come alive again. You're much more excited, and everything about you is where it was in the beginning. Mm-hmm. And so watching that is obvious proof that this is definitely what you needed and what has brought you back into everything for sure. Bryce asked if he could hear more of your spiel.
Well, you only get 30 seconds to a minute. So you have to, it's basically my 30-second story. And then one of the things that they ask you is you do your name, your company, your referral for the week. Okay, what's your best referral for the week? So one of my weeks I said, anyone who's tired of being tired, anybody who's really dragging, if you hear somebody complaining about being tired, send them my way. One of them was after 4th of July, that was like, if anybody feels like they just need to clean up their diet and just like get rid of the icky from this weekend, have them call me. So you get a chance to say your name, what you do, who your best referral source is for that week, and I change it every week. So this week I said, the kids are going back to school, so I'm looking for people with families that need to get nutritionally back on board, people who are going to be packing lunches and getting food prep and getting organized because all of our schedules are going to get so crazy. And I can just help people organize their eating schedule and what they're going to be eating and when they're going to be eating it. Everybody knows that Isagenix is easy nutrition. It just makes life so easy. So each week is a little bit different, Bryce. So, it's like I kind of think of in advance, like who are the people that I want to target. Next week we're going to talk about people with like joint pain. Oh, I did one that was like aging. If you feel like you're old, you feel like you're old. That was one of them. One week was just like, if you're feeling really old or you hear somebody complaining about how old they feel, send them my way. So everybody has your contact information. We are not allowed to spam anyone, and they are not allowed to spam us. We have to meet with them one-on-one, or we have to refer them personally and then follow up. So it's very, very professional, super tight. Does that help, Bryce?
Excellent. So with that, there are several different types of business network marketing groups that are out there. BNI has been around for a long time. It's extremely successful, and for many of the reasons that Journey has talked about. You create a community, you create a tribe, you get to know each other, you brainstorm, you usually have a topic, there's usually some kind of training, and you do refer each other, and that's a big part of it. So you're dealing with the same people over and over, and then they keep referring you to their friends, and you do the same thing. And don't get scared about that. I did get scared about that years ago, because I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I going to refer all these people out? That's the business we are in. We are surrounded by people that we refer, that are referred to us, and it's just conversation. That's what we teach over and over. It's just sharing. So you're doing the exact same thing. And when you come across something good, you share it. I mean, I'm not going to preach to the choir. You just have to experience this. You find a good mortgage lender. I'm sure there are plenty of mortgage lenders in there. And
you can only have one from each category.
Right.
So we have the commercial lender, and we have the residential lender, and we have the commercial real estate. But it's cool because like my meeting, my one-to-one tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock is with a tax guy. Guess who needs a tax person?
Right.
Right. So
and how many
I'm really excited.
How many of your team members need a tax person? How many of your team members are thinking about moving? How many of your team members are needing someone to help organize? You know, all these different types of people that you're coming across. Our teams need these good referrals. Your Facebook, social needs.
Yeah. We actually have a small business consultant. That's what Kimberly does. She's a small business consultant called Flourish Business Services. So she'll sit down in a consultation, very reasonable, and map out your small business plan.
Right.
I mean,
cool.
Who doesn't need that, right? We're good at what we're good at, but like that's not my specialty.
Right.
I'm like, ugh, whatever, you know.
Yeah, and Journey, I'm perfectly fine if you want to advertise for them and just do a little spiel on the different people each week, so that we do have people that we can go to when we're in a time of need. I mean, I have about 3 or 4 different people in my life that I need right now, and I'm asking for referrals. So if I know that they're excellent people, I can refer back to the people you're meeting.
Yeah, and what's great is you guys can come. Anybody who's local in Arizona could come to meetings. If you're out of state, find a BNI meeting and just go as a visitor.
Yeah.
You know, you could just walk into a meeting and have your cards there and give them out. I mean, it's really easy. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. I only went because I love Kim, and I didn't want to say no because I love her, and I knew I needed to step out, so I was willing to go do this and just try it, and I love it. It's so much fun. Everybody's standing up giving their like tagline. I'm like, I don't have a tagline. Like, I don't even know what this is, but it was so fun because like I stood up and I was just like, hi, I'm Journey Reeves, and I'm like health and wellness coach, and I and I just totally spilled over it. But then and then I said, well, I don't really have a tagline, and so everybody repeats the tagline, and so everybody just said, no tagline, no problem. You know, they make it so healthy for you. Like you don't, like, it's not threatening at all, and you can walk into a room full of strangers and you can pass out your business cards and you can say your 30-second story, and you can like really connect. And then if there's already somebody there, like if the nutrition position is already locked out, then you just ask the person who's in charge, is there a chapter nearby that does not have a nutrition supplement person already on board? And they will steer you in the right direction. So if the one that you visit isn't, like that position's already locked out, there's plenty of others. And there was actually a girl from It Works who came as a visitor to this one. And unfortunately, because I'm there, she couldn't join, but she just talked to Lizzie and she just connected her with another group. So it's really that easy.
Nice. It's a huge community. You really should check it out. There are several different types of things that you can look at, and I suggest you do check them out and you go with what feels comfortable to you. Meetups are a huge opportunity. Usually you don't have a whole lot of cost with those, or you go for free the first time, but just kind of look in your area for different meetups. And when you join a meetup, you can put in your likes and what you're interested in and your hobbies, and kind of check out that group a little bit and then go to their meetings. That's a great place to meet people. Be a part of the fairs and the events. They do a lot of vendor shows, usually different types of businesses like that, because you have a group of people who are looking for new business. So they do events to help people to get that. Let's see, what are some of the other things? There's a ton of meet and greets. If you just, again, Google these things or look in meetups or, look in the different groups or local newspapers and so on, the different type of meet and greets. We have one off of, and Daphne, I'm sure Daphne knows about it. She's not on right now, but Let It Roll, the bowling alley, does a meet and greet every Friday night. They have a DJ. We have a couple of associates that do this, and they go there every Friday night to promote their business. But you're in a fun environment, and you're bowling, and you're getting to know people, and that's who we are. So you want to be in those type of community fun environments where you're going to actually get to know people. They have several of those, and some of them, you just go with a huge stack of business cards and you talk to people and hand them out, and you spend about 3 minutes with them. Those are a little harder. I've done several of them. But if you go with a team of people or a couple of friends and you kind of learn from each other, you'll feel a lot more comfortable. That's great to do because, first of all, we're not in a competition business. So perfectly fine. And let's just say 3 of us go, and we spread out throughout the room and have these conversations with people. We're going to meet all different types of people and connect with the different ones. Stacia just put in their Chamber of Commerce. They do so many events. That's fantastic, Stacia. You just join the Chamber of Commerce, and if you're in a really small town, you must be a part of these. They're inexpensive. I think they're like $100, maybe $200 a year, and they have directories, they have events. Their whole purpose is to promote your business and the other businesses, of course, that are part of it. So definitely look into Chamber of Commerce's. Other ideas, other different places that you guys have been a part of or that you've looked into, or anyone been a part of something?
Well, we also joined that leadership group, which is going to take me off of these Tuesday night calls in a couple of weeks because I'm going to go back. I have my women's leadership group at church, and that's 35 women that are kind of a captive audience, and just getting to know them personally. I'm not there to do business. I'm just there to learn. I'm taking a year-long class, for those of you guys who know, on Tuesday nights from 6:30 to 8:30. And it has created beautiful relationships with women who I otherwise would never have come in contact with. And that's just that one step closer. So there's so many different opportunities, especially if you have kids, and you're like, Stephanie, you're like the professional at that. Is like you're sitting there at soccer or baseball or hockey or football, and there's parents all around. And if you don't know them, then just go introduce yourself and say, hey, you must be so-and-so's mom or dad. How you doing? And talk about finding the commonality, because you'd be amazed how many people are too afraid to approach you. And then again, at any of these events, it's not just about passing out your cards, it's getting their cards and getting their information. I gave me a little book to put everybody's cards in, and my goal is to get a hold of every single one of those people personally, make a phone call, and say, hey, would you be interested in sitting down for a one-on-one?
That's nice.
Just learn about them.
Right. That's a beautiful journey. And, we all have business cards. throughout the years. Hopefully you guys have gathered business cards, kept them. This is your time to go back through each of them and do what Journey just suggested. Hey, do you have some time? Can we meet? Anyone that you gained a business card from has a business that they want to grow. So you have that mutual respect that I want to talk about my business, you want to talk about your business, let's get together, have a cup of coffee and see how this works for the two of us. Everyone is interested in our solutions. So it's a pretty easy conversation. And if they are wanting to build their business, they're most likely going to say yes, as long as it fits into a time where they're available. But it is time for you to grasp on to contacts of people you've met. And when you're going back through business cards and people that want to grow their own business, they don't care about how long ago you met. I wouldn't even bring that up. I would just say, I have your business card. I've been looking at this and you keep coming to mind. Do you have time? Can we sit down and have a one-on-one and talk about our two businesses? They want the exact same thing you want. And for you to get a referral, do you care if you met them 3 years ago or a day ago? Because I know that's a big hang up for people of, I met this person so long ago, I don't know if I should give them a call. Well, yes! Stacia's a great example. Stacia McClure is on the line right now. Stacia and I used to work together it's been longer. Oh my gosh, it's been 9 years ago, Stacia. We've kept in touch. We're friends on Facebook and we talk to each other here and there. Of course, I've brought every business to her that I've been a part of. But it was a matter of when it was time for her. And so now it's time for her. And so it doesn't matter, was it 9 years ago or was it a day ago? Never, ever think about that kind of stuff. Just, hey, I saw your card and I wanted to see if you have some time. Can we get together and just sit down over a cup of tea? And just talk to people. I know, right? That was a long time ago, huh, Stacia?
Well, I do. And to add to that, just for a second, I think you're about to run out of time, but when you go through those cards, think about someone who needs what they have, right? You might not need a real estate service, but maybe you know someone who does need that, and be willing to say, hey, look, I'd like to sit down, learn a little bit more about you and your philosophy and your style, because I think I might have someone for you. And feel free to start, ask permission, obviously, but you're going to be given those referrals. And that all comes back. That's what the Giver's Gain is all about, is that will come back for you.
Exactly. Absolutely. And what's interesting, if you read Stacia's comment right now, she said, this is what makes us so great. I knew if I saw you in a biz I thought would work, I would join. And she did. So she just needed that one little post that made sense for her, and it was at that moment that she needed it in her life. And that's how this works for people. And when I'm talking about this, I'm talking about people who want this as a business, but it will also be people who need it for their health and so on. It's just that one little moment, but you get together with them. Immediately once Stacia said, I'm interested, we connected, we met at a Paradise Bakery and we had a cup of tea together. So it wasn't strictly just over social media. We actually did physically meet. And that's the important thing about what we do. And I'm going to run out of time. Does anyone have any other questions before we end? Because it's going to cut off very shortly. If you do, let me know. We will not continue another call after this. Journey, thank you so much for tonight. It was such a pleasure and a blessing to have you speak about that and get us all re-energized.